Hello everyone, Sheila back again today. I'm just sitting doing a little bit knitting. I'm actually doing the first size on the, I'll show you the first size on this pattern here, because I have just a little something to tell you in a little bit video I'm going to put on just about this pattern, and I'm going to change the picture on it and something else about that pattern, but I have a little video to put on in a few minutes and explaining something in that video, why I'm doing knitting another one, because I want to have I've already knitted one, an 18-inch one with a little hat, but I also want to do a 16-inch one with the hat on the other one I've done is a little beanie hat, but I want it to be a little bonnet as well. So I'm doing the smaller one, I'm going to do a bonnet with it, and then I can put the two of them together on a picture and change the picture on this pattern and changing one or two other things, but I explain a few things like that in the little video. But because I'm just doing this at the moment, today's rather a hot day today, and it's too hot to be doing anything in my garden. And I'm not even having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, I'm having a cold drink. It's one of those fruit drinks I buy from Fruto or something like that. It's like a type of blackcurrant one you water, you add water to it. It's a nice drink I usually make a jug full and put it in my fridge, and it's nice and cold when I want it. But I'll show you the little video that I was talking about first, and explain a few other things afterwards. So I'm going to stop this video and then I'll start it again afterwards. So this is what I've been doing. This is a 22-inch cardigan. A lady did send me an email and ask about doing any little cardigans for 2 to 3 year old, or if I had any, and I didn't, but I thought I'll knit some. So I've done this one. I'm probably going to contact the lady to see whether she wants this one that I've done. This is a rosebud lace, and I'm starting another pattern with this one because while I've got a couple of patterns with rosebud lace, they go up from a 16-inch to a 28-inch there, but no, I haven't got a V-neck. One or two people have asked me about a V-neck, so I'm starting a pattern, and this is the 22-inch on that pattern. I think I already have a 24 on it, which I've done for somebody else. I may have a 26 as well, I'm not sure, but I need to check. So anyway, that's that one. And that same lady asked me about these little bags. That's this one. I have to put the lining in this one still and put the band, make it like a shoulder, so put over the shoulder. So I would probably ask her if she wants that as well. And that's that I've done. And this is another little one I've knit. This is one of my patterns. I can probably blow that one up a little bit. This is one of my patterns that a lady bought on Etsy, I think it was. And she sent me a message asking about, this was the 18-inch, that she was doing the 18-inch, and she wasn't sure about on this bit here, that either on the smaller size there's 4 stitches for it's knitted in with the whole thing. There's 4 stitches, and I had made a mistake on that pattern. She didn't know whether I had started off seeing there was 4 stitches there, but had changed after I did this part here and went to here, changed it to 5. And she didn't know whether she was supposed to have 4 or 5 stitches on, so she asked me about it and made me realise there was a fault on that pattern. I have sold hundreds of this pattern and nobody has ever noticed that little fault. It's nothing. I think once you start off with, because you have almost stitched down the bottom, and then you come on to this bit where I put that 4 stitches. But as I got further at the start of the actual pattern, I changed it to 5 stitches when it should have been 5 stitches all the time. So most people have probably just changed to 5 and never noticed, but I have altered the pattern so anyone buying it now will have the full correct instructions. But then that lady also asked me the only way I could work it out, because I wasn't sure. So I thought to myself, I'm just going to knit it. It's easier, because I didn't know whether that, with having either for the wrong number of stitches for either here or there, or not sure which way it was. I thought it could knock the pattern out. If anybody's trying to do the pattern, it's going to get them a bit confused. So the only way I could sort it out to make sure that I got it right was to actually knit this piece. So I thought, well, I'm knitting it, I might as well just knit the whole cardigan. I'm not going to knit it and then pull it out just to knit it for this, to do, you know, to make sure the pattern was right. So that's what I did. So I've knit this 18-inch. It'll be to sell. But then the same lady messaged me again and asked me if I had a hat for this pattern. And I hadn't done a hat for this pattern, so I thought I had a little bit of wool left over. So what I've done, I was intending to do a bonnet, a little bonnet that fastened under the chin. But I wasn't sure about how much yarn I had left, and it's just as well I decided to make a little beanie. Ended up a little beanie because I had about that much of wool left after I finished it. That was just enough to sew up the side of the hat, because I didn't do this in a circle, because I gave up knitting little hats in the circle, because I've noticed something when you knit the little hats in the circle, you do the rib, with you going one way all the way around all the time, that rib tends to lean over to one side, and I don't like that. So I'm just going to do my little hats the way I normally do them, do a seam down the, and they can, little circular needles can get lost. But anyway, that's what I did. That's just a little beanie. It's just, as you can see, it's a little beanie type of hat with a little lacy border on, and I did a little bit like a moss stitch around there before I started the shaping at the top. But what I'm going to do is, because I would have preferred it to be an actual bonnet, because I think the little bonnets are starting to come back into fashion. I've seen quite a few little babies with bonnets instead of little either pom-pom hats or little beanie hats. So I'm going to knit another one, like a small one, a 16-inch, and knit a bonnet with it as well. So I can put these, I'm going to change the picture on, this is my pattern number 6. I'm going to change the picture on the pattern, and I'm going to put the 2 cardigans. I'm going to put this one, take a photo of this, and I'll have this one and the 16-inch with a bonnet. So I'll have the instructions for a bonnet and a beanie hat. And that's what I'm going to do anyway. So that's something I've been knitting as well. And for anyone interested, this is my latest pattern, which I've had a few testers doing it, and I've had 1 or 2 people have finished, and I've been told about 1 or 2 small faults to the pattern, and I've put them right, and I now have it printed. So I'm going to put it up for sale now, and I'm putting, when I put the patterns out now, I'm putting, you know, this is 16 to 24-inch panel and cable button-up cardigans in double knitting yarn. A lot of my patterns I haven't put on the picture what wool it is, so I'm going to be changing quite a few of them. And then also, this is pattern number 18. I'll be writing the pattern number on as well, so it'll be easier for anyone that could be asking for it to know what pattern. They just need to tell me the pattern number and I'll know which pattern they mean. So that one will be on sale on, I'm not sure about eBay, whether I can get it up on eBay because of their simple delivery, which isn't as simple as it should be, because I put these in an ordinary small envelope. I think it's a CC5 or C6, It's a half A4 sheet size anyway, and it is posted for as a small envelope, and it only costs 87p for a second class stamp. But AB will only let them go up for, including tracking and everything, for £2.70 something for, and I am not putting them up for that because that's more than what I get for the pattern. So I'm not sure about eBay. I will try and put them on there, but if I can't get them on there, they'll be on Etsy and on Ko-fi. They're on Etsy for 2.65 because of what the extra fees they charge. I have to charge a bit more on there, but they're £2.50 on Ko-fi. But if I can get them up onto eBay, I charge myself £2, but eBay charges their like insurance type thing, buyer's protection insurance, which would cost £2.22, which is the cheapest you can get it for on eBay. But it all depends whether I can get it up there or not. Well, that is the green the back and the two fronts made. And it's an entirely different colour on this than what is shown on here. It is an emerald green, but looks more like a jade on the photograph. It's never comes out true colour. Just have the sleeves to do now, and then the neckband and the front bands, and it'll be a 36-inch, and that will be for sale on my shop when I get it finished. So that is my pattern, what I'm doing, why I'm knitting this smaller one, and like I explained in the little video. And you know, that's the first time I've knit from this pattern in particular, since I printed it. And it was a real pleasure knitting that little cardigan. I had to even look at the instructions because I'd forgotten what I had to do on it. But it's a fault that's been in that pattern. I don't know how long it is since I made that pattern, because it's one of my first ones. I have 18 patterns and that one's number 6. And I'm not even sure how many patterns. I know I've sold hundreds of it, and no one's even noticed that little fault. And I do ask anybody, even on my patterns that you buy and that I've had out for a while, if you find anything at all, no matter how small, please tell me so I can put it right. It makes it better for my patterns, and they sell better when there's no faults in them. Look at it that way. But you do patterns, even the likes of Surdor and Wendy and all them, you do find faults in them, and sometimes you know, if you can click on the site or anything, sometimes you can pick the faults up from there that people have sent in. So anyway, that was enough about that. But I was at my quiz last night. At least we didn't come in last. There was 15 teams and we came in second last, 14. But you know, most of the ones that were higher up, they didn't have many more scores than us because there were a lot of really hard questions last night. But we got quite a lot of them, but still didn't make it any further up than second last. But there was only me and my friend Anne, because Michael, that's Anne's son, wasn't very well last night, so he didn't bother coming. And we really do need Michael because he's very good at and my computer's just told me that the energy thing's going down on it. I'll have to plug the cable in so it doesn't go off while I'm doing this video. That's it. And you know, I haven't had a few videos. I haven't been up on YouTube for a few days because I had some trouble with my internet. And it's always been very slow. You know, I was paying £46 a month. That was just for my broadband and my home telephone, because I did have the movies months ago, probably over a year ago, and I cancelled them because I never watched them. you know, they were just repeat after repeat after repeat. And I thought, well, you can get all these on all those free channels, and I don't need Sky. So I just cancelled it, and that brought my payment down to £46 a month. But, you know, I was never very happy. I could never do a live because it was always buffering and pixelated, and it was just terrible, the reception that I got. And when I uploaded any videos onto YouTube or anything like that, it took ages. Sometimes if I was doing a one that was a bit longer than normal, maybe it's about 35-40 minutes or something like that, it would take about 2 hours for it to upload. And I got a bit sick of it, and I was looking online to see, I'm going to get some other internet. This is, you know, for my broadband. I thought, this is terrible with Sky. And then I looked on the Sky one, and I could get a much better Sky full fibre, it's called, for £28 a month. And I'm paying £46, and I've got crap. So I thought, I'm going to change, but it was a 2-year contract. That was another reason I didn't bother changing before. I just didn't want a contract, but I thought, you know, I'm going to be on it anyway. I might as well just have the thing. So I got them to do it, and they decided they'd come on Monday gone. Came in on Monday and fitted it and everything. It was great, and I didn't do anything on YouTube or anything like that, but I was just watching some of the, you know, the streaming, the sites where you get free TV and movies and that, the way I was streaming things like that. And before, when I was streaming anything, a lot of the sites I went on, you would get that circle going round and round and round, you know, every so often. The video was stopping and it was going round and round. That was another reason I was getting annoyed with it. And it was great. It was going all the way through. It didn't happen anything, and got right to midnight and it went off. And I was in the middle of streaming something, and it was coming right up to the crucial part, and it went off. Of course, that used to happen with the other one that I was on, the other broadband that I had. But you could click on my computer, and it would go through a process and bring it back on again. Well, I tried that with this one, and it would not come on. It kept going on, and I tried and tried all the different things it was telling you on the, you know, when you click on to put the internet right, and that, and no, it just wouldn't go on. So I just switched it off and went to bed. But before I went to bed, I got onto Sky, because when you're going on this thing and it's telling you what to do to get your internet back on again, and then it came up in the end and saying that I would have to go onto the to Sky for an engineer to come out because it couldn't be put right. So I did that. I got onto the part of the internet I had to click on, and I clicked on, and they arranged for an engineer to come out, which was today, between 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And he did come. It was about 1:30 when he come, so it was pretty good, because I was thinking, oh, you know, I bet it's about 6 o'clock before he gets here. But it wasn't, and it took him a little while, and he saw it was switched off, and he said to me at first, that's what's wrong, you're not supposed to switch that off. I said, I only switched it off when it stopped working. I says, it was on when it went off. Oops, sorry. He says, I thought you had switched it off, and that's what was wrong. I said, no. I said, I'm not that stupid. I said, I know what things have to be, you know, connected. I said, I never switched the other one off any time, because you always get updates going, you know, usually during the night and that. And so he was looking at it, he tried a few things, and he asked about, was it Sky that had come out, he says, before it was coming to install it, and they put a box and a wire outside where they didn't have to come inside the house, they did it from outside the house. I says, yes. So we went, I'll go and check that. He come back in, he's I found what's wrong. Check your internet, he says, I checked, yes, it come on. Oh, great, it's on. I says, what was wrong? So it was the wire where they connected outside, the spliced wires together, and he says they'd left one bit, it was like a hair. The width, it was like a hair. That's all that was missing. He says it would have worked at first, But after a while, it would have stopped working, which is what happened to you. So he says, I've fixed that, I've put that up. So he says you shouldn't have any more trouble. I said, oh, well, thank goodness for that. So I will be trying a live later on. I'm just going to do a little test, not actual live. I'm just going to do a little test to see what the live is like and get the opinions of everybody. I'll put it up on the internet to give me an opinion before I do a proper full live. So hopefully that's sorted out the problems with the internet, and I'll be able to watch things in peace now without that little circle going round and round and round and round. But anyway, I was at my granddaughter's on Sunday, and you know, the kids, I don't know whether I can find them on these little things up there, like little toys. They're called magnetic monkeys. I'll see if I can find a picture on on my phone just to show you what they look like. It's magnetic monkeys. They have a thing about these. Yes, I found them. And get a picture of the whole lot of them, what they're like. These are some magnetic little monkeys. They have magnets on the hands and the feet, and they throw them about and they stick to everything, you know, metal and that, and they love them. And little Eddie, last week, he said to me, it wasn't Eddie. Eddie said something, and then his mum says, my granddaughter says, go on, ask your nana. I'm not doing it. Says what? Ask your nana what? This was not Sunday gone, it was the Sunday before that. And he says, can you make a hat for my monkey? I says, have you seen the size of the monkeys? I says, the heads are only about the size of me thumb. And Cheryl says he wants red and white hats. I says, why do you want red? I says, they're Christmas hats. I want a Christmas hat for my monkey. Of course, I thought you only had one. But okay, I'll do one for you. I'll bring it next week. But I says, I'll just have to guess the size. And if it's okay, I'll bring it next Sunday, which was Sunday gone. And I says, if it's okay, well, you'll have one there. So I took the wool. I had some really very thin cotton, which I used. I actually made one, and I used 2 75mm needles, and this is what I did. The little hat for the monkey. I just cast on in white. All I did was cast on. I didn't put any rows in the white because of it is a little bit thicker. But the red was very fine. I had some very fine cotton that someone sent me, which is don't even know whether it's 3-ply, but it's very thin. And I thought, well, it's ideal for that. And I had the smaller needles, so that's what I made, like that. So I took that with me on Sunday, and, you know, looked at it, and I looked at the floor, and there was about half a dozen monkeys on the floor. I said, I thought you only had one. She said, oh no, she says, he's got 6 and Tommy's got 6. I says, you mean there's 12 of them? Yeah, and Eddie says, he took this off me and he was trying it on. He says, I want one. He was trying it on a particular one, it was a black one. He was trying it on the black one. And I said, well, does it fit? Yeah. Okay then, so good job I brought the wool with me and my needles. I says, I'll knit you one while I'm sitting here. It only took me about 15-20 minutes or something to make. It's only, I think I cast on 24 stitches. Yes, there's 24 stitches. I did 8 rows in garter stitch, and then about 6 rows where I was decreasing to bring it up, you know, to a dome shape like. So it didn't take very long. So okay, I'll make them. So I'm knitting away. I'd done about 3, and he was putting them on the monkeys, and And Tommy's brother had been out at his friends, and he come in, he looked up and he picked the black one up off the floor with the hat on. And Eddie says, trying to say, "That's mine." Tommy says, "Not, it's mine. That's my monkey." Then I had to look around and he found it was his monkey. Eddie's was somewhere else. So Eddie says, "Well, I want my hat." And Tommy says, "It's on my monkey, I'm keeping it." And this went on arguing over these hats. So I actually made 6 hats on Sunday afternoon for these little monkeys. And I've got another 6 to do. There'll be 5 of them for Tommy, because he's kept the one that was on the black one. And then I was just talking to Cheryl. I was laughing to Cheryl, and I said to her, "It's a good job," I says, "I had that really thin cotton, because I says the double knitting and all that I've got would have been far too thick. You know, it would have been hard to make a really small one with the double knitting." And I says, "So it's lucky," I says, "I happen to have that, because I says this woman sent me some green as well." I says, "I've got some green and some like a bluey green, like a forest green and a bluey green as well, and the same stuff." And she opened her big mouth and she says, "Oh, Nana, that would be great," she says, "for elf hats." And then Eddie, "Oh yes, I want elf hats as well, Nana. I want a green and white for the elf one." I said, "Oh my God," I said, "I've got another dozen green and white ones to do, as well as 6 flaming red and white ones." Says to Cheryl, "Why do you keep your big mouth shut, man?" She was laughing. She said, "I knew you'd get annoyed." So the things you do for your, not just for your grandkids, you're doing for your great grandkids as well. But that's life, isn't it? When you grow up and have kids, and they have kids, and them kids have kids, that's the kind of things that happen, isn't it? That's the kind of thing that's happening to me, isn't it? So anyway, I've got a few days to do a few more of them before I'm there on Sunday again. I'll do where I can, and I'll just take the wool with me and just knit them while I'm sitting there. It keeps the kids busy anyway, and but there seemed to be a thing about monkeys, because Cheryl said they were out somewhere and Eddie dropped his something, and it was beside this fella or something, and she went to pick it up, and he looked, "Oh God," he said, "have yours got those as well?" I think they only cost about £5. Like, the kids buy them out of their pocket money, like, you know. But that's fads, isn't it? That's, different things that kids like, different eras and all the different kind of things. With mine, I said to Cheryl, I says, it was action men. I says, and I was telling her, I said, well, having a knitting machine, I had very thin wool. And I says, I used to have to knit little combat jackets and little boots and hats and all sorts for the action men. So I says, it's not something new to me, right? So she's saying, "Oh dear, don't tell them that." She says, "They'll be wanting jackets and all sorts for them." I said, "Well, you've got plenty bits of material, Cheryl, at least get on with them." So that's my little bit for today. So thumbs up and subscribe. I'll catch you all another time. So bye for now.